There's all this political speculation over this effort to revive the G23 to set the Congress on a correct course, and also the conspicuous absence of the Gandhis there. Rajdeep Sardesai has Kapil Sibal live and exclusive now. Over to you, Rajdeep.
Hello and welcome to this India Today special. We are joined by Congress MP, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, our newsmaker, Kapil Sibal. Appreciate you joining us, Kapil Sibal. And the reason you're the newsmaker is because you've engaged in dinner diplomacy to bring together the opposition exactly a year after you and about 23 other Congress MPs wrote to the Congress leadership asking for a revamp of the party. And in this dinner diplomacy, the Gandhi family was not invited, not present. What are we to read into this? That are you trying to bring together the opposition minus the Gandhis?
No, not at all. It's nothing to do with the Gandhis at all. If you remember that the people of this country are asking the question to us when we go out. Fine, when we're anti-BJP, but what's the alternative? And I thought, that time has come to start that process. And when I called all the leaders of the opposition, and in fact, every political party was present there, barring one.
Mm-hmm. The BSP was not there. Among opposition party, the Bahujan Samaj was not there.
But everybody else was there. So I wanted to start a conversation, nothing more than that. And I said, the time has come that we need to talk to each other. Talk to each other, we are congressmen. Congress is not excluded in this conversation.
Yes, but you call congressmen, but you don't call the Gandhis. You call all the members of your so-called G23 who are seen to be, in a way, questioning the state of the Congress. So therefore, it seems as if this is a parallel attempt to build opposition unity parallel to what Rahul Gandhi is attempting.
Is that sort of anti-Congress? It is pro-Congress. We're doing something for Congress. Because we are congressmen, we want the opposition and the Congress to get together.
Minus the Gandhis.
And Rahul Gandhi is taking his own initiatives, and we appreciate that. We are also congressmen, and we are also taking those initiatives. So why should this be considered as minus the Gandhi? No, it is for the Gandhis. It is with the Gandhis. Except that we are at the moment in a situation where we want to start that conversation. And because some of us are very close to the leadership of all these political parties, we believe that it's time to tell them, look, let's get together and see what we can do for the country. Congress, all the opposition together to build an alternative to the BJP.
The interesting aspect is that a breakfast meeting was also held last week in Parliament where Rahul Gandhi took the lead. A number of these opposition parties were there. But at your dinner, many more were there. The Biju Janata Dal, the Akalis, you had the Aam Aadmi Party, all of whom, YSRCP, all of whom attended your party along with the usual suspects. This led to the belief that maybe you are trying to structure an even wider coalition.
No.
Than what Rahul Gandhi was able to achieve.
See, Rahul Gandhi rightly is doing what he thinks is best, and we support him in every possible way, but we are adding to his efforts. We're saying, look, we also have certain connections with political parties, in which we can also forge a coalition, and that will be in support of the Congress party. So it's not anti-A or anti-B. It's in support of a larger coalition in which Congress is at the fulcrum. If you ask me, one of the most interesting comments in this conversation was made by Omar
Abdullah.
Yes, and he said, it's very important, he said, look, it's all very well to get the opposition together, but unless the Congress gets 120 seats in Parliament at least, there's going to be we'll not be able to form any alternative government. So therefore, it's important for the Congress to get stronger, right? And that's an effort that we've been making for the last 1 year. And I'm sure that the Congress will get stronger. But at the same time, we cannot sideline such a conversation. So on the one hand, we are wanting the Congress to get stronger. On the other hand, we want an agenda for the future for 2022 in Uttar Pradesh and 2024 in Parliament.
I'll come to that conversation because you mentioned Omar Abdullah. I also heard that an interesting comment was passed by the Akali Dal's Naresh Gujral, who apparently bluntly told the leaders present at your dinner the Congress party needs to free itself from the clutches of the family. And a number of leaders apparently also hinted, in his case more openly, that the Congress needs to revamp. If they have to get these 120 seats that you're talking about, you're going to have to revamp. And some of them said one way to revamp is to remove yourself from the clutches of the family.
No, I don't think at all. In fact, that's not our objective at all, and it's never been our objective. We want to strengthen the Congress. And quite frankly, Rajdeep, when people come to your show, you know, and you invite many people from different hues and colors of political hues and colors, you don't know what one person is going to say. So therefore, don't attribute a comment of one person to the feeling amongst the so-called G23 or the rest of the opposition. That's a point of view that somebody has, and he has expressed it, and we cannot, you know, say anything about that. But all that we want to say is this particular conversation was only to find out what are the commonalities of interest, so that we can have an alternative. Remember, the people of India don't want the BJP. The people of India want an effective alternative, and we want to build that.
You know, this effective alternative. Look at the contradictions within. You had Sitaram Yechuri and the Trinamool Congress there, who are at war in Bengal with each other. You have the Akali Dal attending it. Your party is their prime opponent in Punjab. You have several such examples across the country where the so-called part, the YSRCP, is your opponent in Andhra Pradesh, the TRS in Telangana. So how is this, you know, this alternative from an outsider's perspective seems like a khichdi?
You're absolutely right that these are lots of contradictions within the system, but those are the contradictions we have to resolve to get a common platform. Remember, in any negotiation, where people are against each other, which may be a legal negotiation, a political negotiation, any kind of negotiation, right? When there are contradictions, how do you resolve those contradictions? First of all, you go to a state. Take, for example, Uttar Pradesh, right? You sit on the table and say, look, three parties or four parties have interest. How do we resolve this? First, let's come to a common platform. Let's see where there is no conflict. Let's delineate those issues. That's how negotiations happen. Now, there may be inherent contradictions, but if the commonality of purpose is there, people will, and that's exactly
what is the common purpose? Just defeat Narendra Modi?
No, again, this is completely wrong. And that's what was expressed throughout the meeting. This present government has destroyed all that this republic stands for, all that India stood for, all that the Mahatma stood for, all that we as a nation stand for. See the kind of slogans that were hurled against a particular community just yesterday at Jantar Mantar. Is that the India that we are living in? All institutions have been destroyed. That was what was expressed in the meeting yesterday.
You're saying that because, again, from an outsider, it seems like survival. Somehow you all want to desperately survive, and the only way is bring them together on anti-Modiism. Why do you say that there is, I mean, what is your common agenda?
Am I not entitled to oppose this government for the policies that this government follows? Am I not entitled to say where the prices of petrol and diesel have gone? Am I not entitled to say where the milk prices have gone in this country?
Sure you are, sir. But then your same party in Bengal not too long ago fought the Trinamool Congress. You're fighting the Akalis in Punjab. You're fighting Samajwadi Party, BSP.
Again, now you are going back. When we are starting a conversation,
so it's a start.
When we are starting a conversation, you don't look at yesterday, you look at tomorrow. I hope you understand that. All parties were looking at tomorrow. All parties said we need to get together. That's the commonality of purpose. And therefore, when you point out those contradictions between Yechuri and Mamta, those contradictions will not arise once we decide that we are going to go forward together to defeat a government which is seeking to destroy the very fabric of India.
So let me give you an example. Uttar Pradesh is the next big election. Are you all saying that you all will come together to support Akhilesh Yadav as the main contender?
That was the refrain yesterday.
That was the refrain?
That was the refrain. I have to tell you that.
That all of you should come?
All political parties said that, look, let us see who has got the who is the strongest in Uttar Pradesh to oppose the BJP, right? And let's then have a coalition with the strongest, because we can't hope to get a majority in Uttar Pradesh, the Congress party. So therefore, these are the things that we'll have to sort out. This is just the start of a conversation.
No, where does
I'm
that
not
leave
saying-
Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, her attempts to revive the Congress in Uttar Pradesh?
It should be revived. There's nothing wrong with the revival of the Congress.
But you will all
think,
support
you
Akhilesh.
think did I say that? I said the stronger partner in this coalition. Didn't we last time also do the same thing? The stronger partner was the cycle. Remember, we rode on the cycle with Akhilesh. Did we not? When the cycle symbol was taken, remember we were riding on the same bicycle. So
Right.
therefore,
You didn't succeed.
No, that's all right, but you are saying no. Now you are saying so. Don't ask a question when the answer, you find the answer in what we did in the past. So we will resolve it. This is, as I said, this is the starting point of what we wish to do.
Can I therefore, am I getting a sense, and I'm told Sharad Pawar raised this, that the Maharashtra model, where the Congress, the Shiv Sena, and
Look at the
NCP
contradictions
have
there.
come together with their contradictions. Do you want to build that nationwide, that 543 constituencies in 2024 should have these one-on-one contests with the strongest party getting the benefit among the opposition?
One of my colleagues said exactly that 543 is going to be impossible. But even if you get 400 candidates one-on-one, BJP will not come back to power. So we need to work towards that. Can we do it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the answer. Will it fall apart? Maybe. But if you say to me to don't even try, I will say, my God,
what
it is because of effort that ultimately you succeed. You have to make that effort. You have to do the right thing.
1 year
Because
ago,
we have to save India against someone who is destroying India.
So 1 year ago, I again was interviewing you here, and that was when you all brought out a letter calling out for the revamp of the Congress, for a full-time president, reorganization, bottom up. None of it has happened
It's
in the
very
last
sad.
1 year.
I tell you, it's something I feel, and this is my personal opinion, something I feel extremely sad about, that this party has a legacy of over 125 years. And for the last 2 years, we don't have a president of the party. I don't know how a political party can move forward without a president. And it saddens me. It is not against A, B, or C. A political party should have a president who will
full-time president.
We don't even have a part-time president. Forget about a full-time president.
Sonia Gandhi is interim president.
She is an interim president. She's not a part-time president. She's an interim president. In other words, still a president is appointed. Which political party with this kind of legacy will move forward in politics, will be attracted to the people of India without a president? This is something that, this is my personal view.
Sure.
Right? And this is not anti-A or anti-B or anti-C. I just think that the Congress party must have a president.
But that's exactly it. You told me this exactly a year ago. Nothing has changed on the ground. Sonia Gandhi is still interim president. No organizational elections have taken place
Now
at
you
any
are
stage within the
moving
Congress.
the conversation away from the conversation yesterday to the Congress party.
No, because you yourself said just now that without the revival of the Congress party,
Yes.
this opposition coalition
I said what
cannot
Omar
take
said.
off.
Omar said, and
Which a number of people also have agreed.
Supported,
right?
yes.
That you need the Congress revival. On the other hand, the Congress seems to be caught in status quo where nothing changes.
Well, we hope things happen. We just pray that things happen. We are trying our best. We are batting for the Congress party. We'll continue to bat for the Congress party.
But this is where
the problem again is that there's no conversation. The problem is, while we are having conversation with the opposition, I can share this with you, that since 2019, I have not had a conversation with the leadership. Since 2019. Now we are in 2021. Now there has to be a conversation.
So you're saying something significant, which in a sense some would say is the elephant in the room, which is that unless the Gandhi family itself is buys into your theory of bringing these opposition parties together on a common agenda and fighting one-on-one seats with the BJP, and is otherwise willing to relinquish power or cede power to some other leader, Nothing's going to take off.
No, no, let's not talk about relinquishing power or whatever. There should be a president, a formal president. There should be a conversation. Look, you cannot have any movement forward in any dialogue without a conversation.
Right.
Right? Right? You cannot achieve anything without a conversation, which is why Parliament is not happening, because there are no conversations in Parliament anymore. The BJP, which has brute majority, does not want to discuss anything, right? So that conversation is over. There is no conversation with the media, because you know what's happening in the media today. With which institution do we have a conversation? But the only hope is courts ultimately in this country.
But sir, let me ask you this. There will be those, in particular, even within the Congress, will say, look, Kapil Sibal cannot win his own seat in Chandni Chowk. Many of these G23, no, just a minute, many of these G23 members have no base. You're actually dependent on the Gandhi family. Many of you have achieved what you have because of the Gandhi family, and now, because the Gandhi family you see is no longer a vote catcher, you're looking at alternatives and clutching at straws.
Let me destroy this myth. We're all dependent on the Congress worker. Unless we woo the Congress worker, unless we understand the Congress worker, unless we understand the aspirations of the Congress worker, right? That's number one. We have to do that. Number two, we must understand the aspirations of citizens of this country. What is it that they want for tomorrow, right? And that conversation must also be started with the opposition. What do people want in the various states in which elections are going to take place? And how can we help to achieve those aspirations? And how can we expose what this government is doing in those states?
But like how can you have
what Yogi Adityanath is doing in Uttar Pradesh? What others have been doing in other states.
So, but how can you have parallel conversations, one being carried out by Kapil Sibal and his G23 and the others by Rahul Gandhi and his supporters?
No. Why is that?
Why couldn't you all come together?
Again,
you all were not there together. That's why
again, this is a mistake that you are making. You think that a conversation can only take place where everybody is together. It doesn't happen like that. A conversation can take place between me and three leaders outside of a fourth leader. To find out what his mind is.
So let me be more direct. Can the Congress party revive, survive, minus the Gandhi family?
Again, why are you bringing this issue here today? Why are you bringing this issue? I thought that you were going to talk about our attempt to form a broad coalition amongst like-minded parties, or even parties who are not with us, in order to save what we think is the republic of this country.
Some of those parties like the Aam Aadmi Party will have a problem with your leadership.
Whether they have a problem or not, that will have to be resolved. And why? What are bridges? You know, when you want to cross from one mountain to another, right? You need a bridge to cross it, right? We're trying to build that bridge. We're trying to build that bridge between the Congress and the opposition. And Rahul Gandhi is also trying that build the bridge in its own way. So I don't think that our efforts are antithetical to his. I only hope that the Congress within itself, you know, energizes itself, has a formal president, takes it forward, whoever that president is, takes it forward, and understands the aspirations of people of this country, and doesn't sort of lose itself in the past.
Sir, one of the things that is often raised, Mr. Sibal, is that while you have all these parties coming together from different parts of the country, elections in India require a face increasingly.
Sure.
Out of the people that you had yesterday at your dinner, do you have a face? People will ask Modi versus who? It was asked, as you know, in 2019. It was asked in a way in 2014 as well. And the question could well be asked in 2024.
2004 it was not asked.
It was not asked in 2004.
We won in 2004.
Yes.
And we won in 2009. Let's look.
I'm asking you therefore for 2024, is that also a conversation?
2024 is 3 years away.
Yes.
Now we are in 2021.
Yes.
Yesterday was starting a conversation. Don't ask me to give you answers for 2024 as of yesterday or today. Okay? We will resolve all these issues. We'll move forward. We'll get the views of other parties. We'll get the views of our own party. I hope our party has a conversation with all of us. And I hope our party has a formal president, and I hope that this goes forward. I'm not too sure. It's like a scientist starting an experiment. He doesn't know whether he's going to ultimately say Eureka, right?
So you're this is a starting point of an experiment.
I said, no, a starting point of a conversation.
Of a conversation. But what I find interesting is that you yourself are very candidly admitting that no such conversation has taken place within your party, which saddens you. But you, on your own initiative, are now starting a conversation with all the opposition
parties. Nothing wrong
parties.
with that. I'm a congressman, no?
But what does it say about your leadership?
My leadership is also doing the same thing. What's wrong with that? They are doing exactly what I want to do in their own way, and I'm doing it in my own way. Not just I, all of us, all of us. Incidentally, the G23 is intact. So-called G23 is intact. Everybody was there.
These 23 leaders who are calling for a revamp of your party organization.
It's all intact. They all came yesterday. Nobody's left out. So it just shows
the cynics will say that this G23 is a paper tiger. They have no mass appeal.
I don't know. I'm sure everybody there has a mass appeal. I'm sure every congressman has some kind of mass appeal. I don't know. I thought I won 2 elections in this country. So therefore, let's not talk of this. Nobody has a mass appeal. Somebody has a mass appeal. Only time will tell who has a mass appeal. Ultimately, you know, Jayaprakash Narayan is born or somebody else is born. God alone knows who will be born, who will come forward before 2024. We don't know. At the moment, I'm trying to have a starting point of how do we move forward together.
Yes.
Because we have a government which is uncaring, a government which only is concerned about holding on to power and aggrandizing power and destroying all institutions and using investigating agencies and with money power buying over people.
So you're starting a conversation with no idea where it will end? Do you have an end point or even a road or a pathway or a roadmap at all?
Yes, of course.
What is the roadmap?
No conversation starts without a roadmap.
So what is the roadmap?
Roadmap is gets people's views, find out commonality of interests, move forward in that direction. If we need contradictions to be resolved, try and resolve those contradictions. And at the end of it, much before 2024, have an opposition agenda to defeat the BJP.
There will be those who will say, in conclusion, that Kapil Sibal is a dreamer. Many of the parties that you had at your dinner, for example, Biju Janata Dal is your opponent in Odisha. I've mentioned others who have contradictions. Therefore, Mr. Sibal, are you simply...
That's right.
Are you simply tilting at windmills?
That's right.
Or do you really, are you really grounded in reality?
You're trying to provoke me, but let me tell
you
this.
When I was
a little kid,
yes.
When I was a little kid, I had a dream. Right? And I have reached here and fulfilled that dream. Okay? So it is when you dream that you can realize. If you don't dream, you can realize nothing. So I am dreaming of an India without a BJP which is seeking to destroy what I lived for. That's my dream. And I will realize it, and I'm sure there are others who dream like me. Because ultimately, India must live for the future. India must be the country that is recognized in the world as an example of the most vigorous, transparent, strong democracy where people matter and governments don't matter.
And individuals don't matter, whether it's Rahul Gandhi, Kapil Sibal, Sonia Gandhi, individuals don't matter
at all. Nobody matters. It's the people of India who matter, and we must all get together to fight for those people.
And you really think that the Congress party can be a fulcrum of such a revival? A party which, as you yourself have self-admitted, has not been able to appoint a full-time or part-time president for the last 2 years.
Yes. My answer to you is yes. We will revive. We will provide the fulcrum. And I'm sure that all like-minded people will stand with us.
Mr. Kapil Sibal, you've taken all our questions. You've, as usual, been the combative lawyer that you tend to be at times, apart from being this political dreamer. But I appreciate your joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as always, India Today's exclusive political interviews set the news agenda ahead of prime time. Kapil Sibal, in that exclusive conversation with India Today's Rajdeep, has taken on the Congress's top leadership, albeit politely, and says that after hosting that opposition dinner without the Gandhis, Sibal now questions the Congress leadership. He says, what kind of party functions without a full-time president? He says, I haven't spoken to the Congress leadership since 2019. He says his opposition dinner was not anti-Congress but pro-Gandhis, and that he only wanted to start a conversation to find an alternative to the BJP. Many bombshells dropped by Kapil Sibal, talking about how is it possible that the Congress can run along this way without a permanent party president. A direct statement on the indecisiveness of the top leadership, including the Gandhis.